Hey fellow movie buffs, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Project Zomboid, Build 42, Episode 19, Hit Vids. Obviously, I need to have a little bit of a rest, and I was actually thinking of trying not to screw up my circadian rhythm, and just staying awake for the remainder of the day and then going to sleep at night. So my plan is to do some like reading and organizing and things like that, and then have you guys vote on what my next goal is. So as you can see above my head, there is a poll about what I work on next. So I could spend time reading books. I could clear zombies out near the gun store. I could head to Rosewood for books, warehouses for tools, VHS store for tapes, expand the ranch to include more animals, like cows, or work on survival skills, trying to make like a self-made sledgehammer, for instance. So all of these things can be left up to you. Alright, let's rename that chicken. Here we go. I guess the context menu needs to be... Yeah, there we go. Done. So the current priority is vote for the goal. Pretty straightforward. And, what do we got in here? 4 eggs. At some point, we're going to need to get a mop, dish towel, bath towel, or broom to clear out the roost. So I'll keep that in mind as we go forward. So yeah, if you'd like to vote, feel free to do so. And I think what I'm going to do is just to try to keep the weight on and read some books, because given my current level of tiredness, I'm really not going to be able to do much else. Now, I'm almost done with Mechanics 1. And the purpose of that is so that I can start maintaining the vehicles, because the vehicles that we have a lot of vehicles. I have so many car keys. In fact, I should probably figure out what keys to keep and what keys to leave behind, or, you know, something like that. Because we have more keys than I probably have any right to carry around with myself. But being able to start maintaining our cars sounds like a pretty good idea. So, and then once we get through this book, we can consider working on other books. Now, I did start a farm, and it's worth mentioning that without mods, farming is broken. You don't gain experience for leveling up or harvesting crops, and then, like, the crops are never harvestable anyway. They just, like, don't grow fast enough, and then they end up dying. So I am not in any part of this series going to consider mods. This is a strictly vanilla series. But my larger point is I'm not planning on doing anything with the farm. I'm just going to kind of let it die. You know, if the game mechanics aren't in the game for it, I'm not going to bother with it. Alright, we already know all of cooking 1. What should I do next? So, for foraging, we're already up pretty high. Almost level 4. And I don't really have the associated books. Anyway, I have just books 1 and 4. I did actually want to go through the list of books to make sure that all the things I have marked down I have in storage. So let's quickly do that as the vote goes. So for agriculture, I've got 1 through 4. And that's true. Animal care, I have 1 and 3. Yep. Butchery, 1 and 3. Yep. Husbandry, 1, 2, 3, and 5. That is true. Cooking, 1 and 4. Yep. Electricity, 1, 2, 3. Yep. First aid, 1 and 2. Fishing, 1, 2, 3. Foraging, 1 and 4. Mechanics, missing 3. Masonry, 1, 3, 4. Where's me? Oh, yep, that's true. Glassmaking, 1 and 2. Metalwork, 1 and 2. Yeah, so far, it seems like I marked these down properly. Pottery, 1, 2, 4. Reloading, 4. Did I mark that down? Yes, I did. Okay, tailoring, 3 only. Trapping, 1 and 2. I don't have trapping 1 marked down, so I did catch one that I had failed to mark. Welding 1, 2, 3. All right, and that's all the books. So, all right, this list is up to date, which is grand. Happy about that. The next skill I want to work on. So, I think I'm interested in maybe like, I'm interested in butchery given all the animals that I have. And I'm also interested in like metalworking and welding. I think, it's a good question. Probably metalworking. So I'll start on the metalworking books so that I can make more progress and possibly make myself a sledgehammer rather than have to find one. And it also looks like you guys have voted that it's a toss-up between read books to level up skills and head to a VHS store. So I can probably do both. Let's update, read books, and head to VHS. So about VHS, this is where it gets a little challenging. There's obviously nothing in Echo Creek. I would know that. There was nothing in March Ridge. Now, I can go off of my known game knowledge, where I know where the VHS stores are just from experience, and I don't think that's necessarily much of a problem. And probably the easiest VHS store for me to get to at this point would be Maldra's Southern VHS store. That'd be my guess. It has a VHS store that is pretty close to the south of town, where it's not going to be so busy. I don't actually know the new towns, Irvington and Ekron, all that well. They might have VHS stores, but because I don't have maps to them, I'm going to not necessarily head there. Being familiar with the area gives you a big edge when it comes to like looting anyway. There is a VHS store in Irvington, which is to the southwest of me, which is not that far. Wherever we end up going, it's going to be more than just like a day trip. I think it's worth noting because it's going to take a long time to drive there and drive back and all that. So I think probably Maldra's Southern VHS store will be the place to go. Getting some meta events. And weight is dropping again, but not too quickly. It's weird how you interact with it. No, no eggs. Okay. All good. So trunk's empty because the stuff at the end of the road is supposed to go into the trunk. So if we're planning a road trip... Oh man, right, I forgot yet another bug, which is the car batteries. They drain at like an insane rate. There's probably someone has put up like a full list of known issues, at least the major known issues to be avoided. Because I feel, you know, I joked on Discord, but I feel like it's like playing Minesweeper, where there's so many like broken pieces now of Zomboid that it's hard to avoid them all. Because there's like a lot of pitfalls that you could accidentally fall into, like having all the vehicles on the map like run out of battery or whatever just because of the new game mechanics. Whatever. So I'll probably head to sleep a little extra early. And before I turn in for the night, it'd be a decent idea to prep the truck for a bit of a long-range trip. Meaning putting food and... I think I just put in extra fuel, but food in there and stuff like that. Making sure that food needs are met. So let's see. Box of cereal. Cola. I don't know why I have an empty carton. I gotta throw that out. Mac and cheese. Pickles. Pot of water. Yeah, there should be better chargers here. But the battery chargers there are for like, not those kind of batteries. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they changed it so that, like, for whatever reason, if you want to make, like, mac and cheese, for instance, it has to be, like, an empty thing of mac and cheese, or an empty pot ahead of time. Which caught me by surprise the first time I tried to make it, because, like, I don't know about you, but when I try to make mac and cheese IRL, you fill a pot with water, you boil it, you put in the macaroni, but here it's like, works a bit differently. As you can see, here we go. Put pasta in saucepan. Oh, yeah, see, it's forcing me to use a saucepan, not the pot I already have. That's fine, because I already have the water. Okay, cool. So we're working it out. A lot of it is just, like, things work differently, and not knowing how they work differently can be tricky. Alright, let's cool this pot of... Well, I'm gonna put this pot of water away. It's like boiling hot. I should start to get used to drawing water from my, from, like, random pots and the like. Okay. There we go. I guess it's not omnidirectional. The other thing I worry about, and we ran into this last stream, was the rice. So if you... Oh, jeez. If you all recall, I burnt a house down. And apparently, like, I didn't know this at the time, but I had actually turned off the oven, but it burned anyway. So I'm a little worried about, like, cooking things like rice. Because it seems to me like, it's a recipe for a house fire. So we'll have to be mindful of that, careful of that, to avoid burning our home down. No fault of our own. So, cereal, cola... I feel like I should grab some more food. Let's do mushroom soup and peaches and throw those in the glove box. Hopefully we'll be able to find food while we're out there. Could be the oven needs to cool down after being turned off. I mean, whatever the case is, all I know is I turned off the oven and it burned the house down anyway. So it's like... It's something to be wary of, because in real life, if you're making rice and you turn off the oven, your house doesn't burn down. Like, that's just not how house fires work. So, knowing that house fires are a little bit different in this version, I'll just have to be abundantly cautious. Alright, head to Maldra VHS. Was it MUL? There's also some warehouses over there. So, like, while I'm already over there, as long as it's not so full of zombies, I might want to try to, you know, two birds, one stone type deal. What else can I eat real quick? Let's do some fruit jam. And I'm apparently full. Where'd the jam bottle go? Yeah, whatever. Okay. We're fresh as a daisy. We didn't get so much of an early start. I guess I underestimated how much sleep I needed to catch back up. But let's get headed out. So the DLDR is that we are going on the same road that we went before, here, and this intersection, if taken to the north, heads up into Maldra. So we're not having to forge a new path, necessarily. I may want to swing by the gas station with this thing, just to top it up first, though. Yeah, the TLDR of the house fire is, if it wasn't a bug, it still needs to be fixed. I didn't do anything wrong. I, like, made rice, turned off the oven, and the house burned down. So if it's not a bug, it's broken, and if it is a bug, it needs to be patched. There's really no way to defend. Make rice for 20 minutes, turn off oven, house burns down. Trying to do so kills your credibility, I'll put it that way. So before we go on the long road trip, get a little bit of gas. There's a cluster of zombies there. I don't know why. Maybe meta events shifting them around? Yeah, there's a bunch of zombies on this road that they weren't here before. I didn't leave the pot on a running stove. I made rice, turned off the oven, house burned down. I have now said that like 7 times. The reason I'm mentioning it is, like, I'm saying it out loud so that you avoid these issues. It's not that because if it happens to me, it can happen to you, where you end up burning your house down, no fault of your own. That's why I'm vocal about these things, because, if you're trying to, like, for instance, farm in the game, don't. Doesn't work. Save your effort, or you'll have to install mods to make it work. If you're trying plumbing, doesn't work. If you're trying to refill, like, propane torches or all these other things, like car batteries draining, or the calorie requirements for walking. Like, that's another funny one is walking calorie requirements are like ×3 higher. So if you don't want to use calories, technically speaking, sprinting everywhere you go, or at least running everywhere you go, is less calories than walking. So that's one of the issues with the caloric intake that the characters require. It's obscenely high, and it's because they, I'm assuming, accidentally tripled the calories for walking around. So the more I play of this, and the more I read up on the forums and subreddit, the more I learn what mechanics don't work, and I'll share that with you so that you can avoid them. Rather than fall victim to them. Alright, so it's just this road, basically, until we hit that main intersection. That's easy, at least. Now, the only worry that I have with this road trip is if we lose power while I'm out here, we don't have a generator hooked up at home, and we have a lot of food that could potentially spoil. So that's a wee bit of a danger. So many bunnies? Yep. Yeah, there's also bugs with butchering. Like, you can butcher animals for infinite meat, and you can butcher them for more meat than it even exists within the animal. But at least for those bugs, it doesn't doesn't disadvantage the player. So there's issues, but it's in player advantage, so it's a little bit less severe. Alright, it should just be a straight shot from here on out for a long time. Yeah, I really like the direction they're taking this game. I do think that probably the effort versus reward ratio, as I was saying last stream, is a little off, or the stream before, I should say, is a little off. That like things just take a bit too much effort and a bit too much time for the average player. It kind of reminds me of like I remember playing Escape from Tarkov, and a huge part of the popularity of Escape from Tarkov was some of the largest name streamers. The problem is, if you take player feedback from, like, the people that literally earn a living wage from playing your game, they have way more free time than the average player. So Escape from Tarkov, and I don't know if this is true anymore, because I haven't played in years, but back when I was playing it, they were updating the game in such a way where only the top 0.1% of players really could benefit from the updates. And it was problematic because the vast majority of the player base was essentially getting left behind due to the change of game mechanics. I'm not saying that the Indie Stone is doing this. You know, I'm not saying the developers of Project Zomboid is falling victim to that. But when an already somewhat complex game gets more complex, it's definitely likely to appeal to fewer players, right? So I feel like for the new crafting systems, as much as I like it, I do worry that the escalation of complexity is going to put off a lot of new players because they're already struggling to survive. Now, simple combat is harder because you have eagle-eyed zombies that spot you from a lot further out, and you have muscle strain, which makes killing multiple zombies a lot more difficult. Skills can't be ground out the way they used to be. So, like, once upon a time, if you wanted to level up carpentry, you could just, like, break things down to get better at carpentry. Now you have to build things. Well, the problem is most things require nails, and if you don't have a lot of nails, you have to find recipes to just make dozens of. So the current meta now is, like, find a recipe for carpentry that doesn't require nails and just make them over and over and over, like fence posts or something like that, which is just less realistic than it used to be. I'm not saying that you can become a really good woodworker by breaking down pallet boxes, but putting like 200 fence posts in the ground feels even more wrong. You know, it's almost to the Skyrim meme of like making 1,000 iron daggers and then becoming a master a master blacksmith. So I do worry that the complexity of the crafting system means that players will have to min-max, and the act of min-maxing, not that they have to min-max, but that they're incentivized to min-max, and the act of min-maxing makes less sense because of the complexity of the recipes and the rarity of certain pieces of the recipes, right? So, you know, last update, if you wanted to get a lot of nails, you could, because going to hardware stores took hours, not days. Now it takes days, right? It takes a lot of effort or skill to clear out hardware stores efficiently enough for you to, like, mass supply nails. It's just things like that where the difficulty ramps up high enough that the average player might just be like, I don't know how to play this anymore. And that's not good for the longevity of the player base. It does remind me, years ago, there was the ethos, and it's worth mentioning, I am in no way a fanboy of Blizzard, especially not in its Activision Blizzard current state. But once upon a time, one of their driving visions of their game, and for game design, was quick to learn and difficult to master. Basically, the fundamental game mechanics can be grasped quickly, but to become amazing at them took a lot of dedicated time, and that doesn't... Oops. Wait, what are you doing? I hit one button and my I don't know what that was about. But I feel like Zomboid is taking the route of the inverse, which is difficult to learn, easy to master. Once you learn the fundamental game mechanics, then you just learn grind this thing 1,000 times, and then you become a master at it. Mayhaps I'm wrong, but that's my opinion. The issue I described with Escape from Tarkov got better, but it took them a long time to realize it. Yeah, and that's probably true of any game with a dedicated player base, where if you balance it to the top players, it's going to be fundamentally super imbalanced. And that's true of every game that is difficult or competitive. Oh, Yodacam didn't work. That's weird. Hold on one sec. Hey, bud. I'm rebooting the Yodacam software so that it actually gets working. Oh, I see. It's missing some connections. There it goes. I manually put it on, if you're wondering. Wasn't automated. Oh. Here, a little bit more Yoda. I wonder why there was like such a zombie swarm roadblock. I think I can get through here now. It was dense enough that like without them shuffling around a little bit, I wouldn't have been able to get through without totaling the car. Oh, it's because we're heading into Maldura proper? Really? Already? I didn't think so. No, I take it back. This is... Oh, sorry, Rat. Yep, that's the diner. This is gonna be more difficult than maybe I had initially realized, given population density and how ineffective mass kills are. So this is the hit vids. Actually, there's not a lot of zombies right around it right now. So as long as I can ditch my train, this might not be so bad. I don't know about getting to the warehouses though. So one thing that did change is like breaking line of sight with enemies is fairly effective in ditching enemies now. Things like cars will break line of sight. I could sacrifice a car to clear horde. I don't have the mechanic skill to be able to hotwire though. So I don't have a vehicle to sacrifice without driving all the way back home. But if I try to lure all the zombies to me and keep it relatively quiet and don't aggro anymore, I should be able to get through this without getting too tired. Except for right now I'm like between 3 converging groups, so I don't know, we'll see. It's gonna be tricky to stay silent. Okay, let's see what we got here. I think this is the dead wrong that adds skills. And I know that I'm, like, more than likely to get surrounded. Don't worry, that occurs to me. I'm hoping that if they don't hear me, they go away. They lose interest. Car zone 3. That's a start. My first car zone tape, my third tape overall. And car zone 2. Fantastic. If I can make it out alive, those tapes alone would be worth it. Alright, heart's pounding. They also gave this store a little bit of a makeover. Exposure Survival 3, oddly enough, I already have. Kind of regretting not taking the beta blockers ahead of time. For some reason, I can't stomp on the one that's below me. There we go. Wasn't letting me target it for a minute. Alright, Woodcraft 5. Nice. I think it's actually the worst Woodcraft tape, but whatever. Still counts in my book. And Exposure Survival 2 for fishing. Woodcraft 1. I don't think the entryway is going to hold up much longer. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, I'm getting... Oh! Maybe I'm dead. Yep, probably dead. The reason why I don't even bother to fight is you can only really fight without guns. You can only really fight like, I don't know, 20 of them before you're just simply exhausted. Which makes trying to clear out an area like this kind of pointless. I could continue with a new character. I'm trying to think if there's something more reasonable to do. So what I might try to do is I might try to create sandbox settings that I think are more reasonable to play on. There's literally no way to reload. It's impossible. I don't have backed up saves, and the game doesn't do backed up saves. Thank you for tuning in to Project Zomboid Unstable Build 42, which originally streamed live on Twitch, January 14th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow survivors.